Hey, good morning, guys. This is Charlie Pankey, Sierra Rec Magazine, back with you and the Sierra Rec Now podcast, and continuing our series of Out of Your Mind in the Sierra. It's kind of our adventure series, and wherever you're at today, we hope that you are in view of the Sierra or planning your next trip to the Sierra. We are excited today because we have a special guest with us today, Mark Lassagne. Say it wrong. I did still read it wrong, Mark.
Okay.
From a publisher and owner of a Bass magazine.
Bass Angler Magazine.
Bass Angler Magazine. I apologize. So, also part of the BAM Tournament Network, right?
Yes, the BAM Trail, BAM Tournament Trail, BAM Trail for short. It's the Bass Angler Magazine Tournament Trail.
That's how it goes.
Long
perfect.
Drawn out.
Long drawn out. I like BAM too. That works good. And we're going to be talking here today a little bit about bass fishing, not only in the Sierra, but just his magazine and where that's taken the bass industry in the West here, at least, and just learn a little bit more about bass fishing. So, Mark, thanks for joining us today. I didn't even ask you where your home office is at today. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Dixon, California.
All right, very good. I have not been to Dixon, so I won't lie and say I know it's favorite burger in town or anything. So
probably just drove right on by.
Probably did. Very good. Well, hey, Mark, I know that you and I are connected through the Feather River Association, so probably be inappropriate if I didn't mention them as my sponsor today. The Feather River Association works with Plumas County. If you haven't visited Plumas County, destination Plumas County is definitely a place to look at for this spring. Got fishing going on, the snow. I was just up in Gray Eagle this weekend and went up to the longboard races. You ever been up to those, Mark?
I have not.
Quite a hoot, man. I'll tell you. Great reason to drink a beer and watch people ski and get sunburned. That was what it was. But Plumas County is a great place to vacation, camp, fish. So we're going to be talking about the fishing today. Mark probably doesn't know this, but I am not a very good fisherman, right? Mark Pilgrim actually took me out of Lake Almanor last year for the first time, bass fishing. I've never bass fished, so that was a lot of fun. So we're going to talk a little bit about why bass fishing is so much fun to you guys. But
sure.
Mark, you've been doing the magazine for how long?
I've been doing it a long time, 17 years.
17 years. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Bass Angler Magazine. We've been around 17 years. So nice, glossy publication filled full of how-to bass fishing information.
So great for beginners then.
So I built the magazine on the premise that I want to be able to help any angler across the nation learn how to catch more fish and do different techniques.
Okay.
So we cover a lot of techniques, a lot of seasonal techniques that go on, and a lot of new things that come out where a guy in Florida or a guy in Texas or a guy in California can pick it up and learn something.
Okay, fantastic. I imagine smallmouth and largemouth bass. There are different techniques for each of those fish, depending on the warmth of the water that's different, or seasonality is different for guys going out bass fishing.
Smallmouth are okay. Smallmouth and spotted bass are good for cold water, and largemouth don't like cold water so much.
So I didn't know that.
They're a native Florida fish, so you can imagine they like it.
like warm and murky, right?
They're like snowbirds. They like it when it's warm.
Very cool. So up here in the California circuit up here, then we're working with smallmouth mostly in your lakes?
At Lake Almanor, we're working with smallmouth.
Okay.
Once we drop down, like Lake Oroville has smallmouth, largemouth, and spotted bass, but spotted bass is the predominant species there.
Oh, very good. Okay. I didn't realize it. So they can coexist in a lake like that.
Sure.
Okay.
They do coexist. You move to Clear Lake, and that's almost exclusively largemouth with very, very few smallmouth. California Delta, once you get down into the main part of the Delta where all the sloughs are, that's primarily all largemouth.
Okay, very good. And then I see you guys know the Shasta as well, correct?
Shasta is primarily spotted bass, similar to Oroville.
Okay, very good. Very good. So how was your last tournament there in Oroville? You guys have a good turnout? And
yeah, it was good. We had a good turnout, had close to 100 anglers.
Fantastic.
Guys caught a lot of fish, a lot of good quality spotted bass there. So
very good. I won't ask for secret coves or anything like that. We know the guys are protective about their secret coves.
Bass guys are like that. When it's funny that if you go out in the ocean, guys are like, oh yeah, come to my GPS coordinates. It's west 132 and north 6721, you know.
Yep.
And bass guys are like, nah, I'm not telling you where I was.
Yeah, I find that with the hiking guys too. Nobody wants to tell me where their favorite lake is at or kayak place because they don't want anybody else there. Right? We're all kind of selfish that way. So as I went fishing last year with Mark, it was such an exciting thing to not only do, just get to learn how to flick the wrist right or plop the lure. I don't even know what lure I was using, to be honest with you. But I remember your first time they hit that bait, they hit the hook. It's like, whoa! You just feel that it's like out of nowhere. The lure just barely hits the water, and there's just this attack. That smallmouth that just attacks that lure, right? So is that part of what draws people to bass fishing, or is it just what is it?
As they say, the tug is the drug.
The tug is the drug. I like that.
You probably went later in the year where you're throwing like a topwater bait.
Yep.
You're throwing a bait across the top and watching that fish come up and hit it's nothing like that.
That was pretty fascinating, right? I remember the first time was actually a miss, and it was just kind of like a whirled it. It's like it
whirl, yeah.
Yeah, what you get, just like, and you see like the whirl in the water real fast. Like, oh, it was right there, and it's just that's pretty cool. So they put up a pretty good fight too.
Yeah,
once they hit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care, young or old or where you're from. Well, when you hook a fish and you're fighting that fish in, there's just nothing like it. It's so fun that if you have never experienced it, it's something that you should. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that when you went and you hooked that fish and you're fighting it and then finally got it into the boat and looked at it, and it's like, wow, that's so cool. And the great thing about bass fishing is that bass are a hardy fish. Yeah. So you get it in, you grab it, you take a nice picture, and then you let it go, and it's fine to catch it another day.
Exactly. Actually, in my first one, I got it right through the boat and lost it.
Yeah.
So it's first one was like that heartache. It's like, oh, I didn't even know how big it was. It was just like, oh, I got off. But we got the second one in. That was nice. So it was nice. A fun day. And I remember Mark telling me, hey, you got to come up later in the fall, because I was there kind of like end of August, and he goes,
mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks from now they'll be really biting. So it was, someday I'll hop back up there and do that. So do you have a favorite lake that you like in the tournament, that where you go yourself as a bass fisherman? I assume you fish as well.
Almanor is right up there. So Lake Almanor, Trinity, and Columbia River are three really, really great fisheries.
Okay.
And so Columbia River, they all three have smallmouth, and smallmouth are a real fun fish to catch. I probably had my best tournament finishes in the California Delta.
Okay.
But the Columbia River is a lot of fun. There's a lot of big smallmouth. That's a river that runs through Lake Almanor in May, middle of May to the middle of June is, man, you can't beat that place.
That's it. Okay.
And
so right there where you guys are coming to town.
Trinity has, so there's two different kind of largemouth bass, northern strain and Florida strain. So the Florida strain don't like the cold too much. Northern strain are okay with it. So you can go to places like Trinity and catch some big, giant largemouth, even when the water's really cold.
Okay, very good. I was actually talking to guys up on the slopes this weekend. They're telling me that Lake Davis actually has bass in it too. They like catching bass out of Lake Davis. I didn't know that, so I thought that was strictly a trout place, but. There were some beers flowing too, so I'm not going to hold them to that information. How about that? So, very good. So, as far as the magazine goes, when you're focused on readership, you're focused on technique and how to. Are guides that start off kind of just getting started in bass? I mean, I imagine it's just like any professional sports. It takes a long time to become good enough to become a professional angler on these tournaments, stuff like that. But do you find that to be like a dream of people that you hear talk to all the time, or is there always people?
Sure.
How do I get involved?
There's a number of guys. It's more predominant in the South, the Central and the South U.S. It's probably because of the economy so much out here in the West.
Yep.
But there's a number of people out here that have been very successful at bass fishing and made a good name for themselves. that's part of what we're doing with our tour, is that we have a big media reach, where we are helping promote the anglers, helping them get more sponsors, helping promote them out to different places like Lake Almanor. We'll do a 1-hour TV show there.
Oh, great.
So, and we're going to feature a number of anglers during that show where we're hoping to, build them up to, to where they're like a household name in the angling public, and also introduce bass fishing to more people. I mean, you went for your first time this last year, and sometimes work and things get in the way of being able to go. But when you can go, you're probably really looking forward to that next trip.
Yeah, I mean, I know I talked to Mark about this last year too. As I know you're Mark as well, but I don't. I'm never going to be the guy who buys that boat. I mean, they're pretty fascinating, vehicles. But I'd be the guy who needs a tour guide to take me out. Let's go fishing for the day, right? That was contagious, if you will, as far as how much fun that was to be on the water. So,
well, I mean, you can pay a guy like Mark and have him take you out.
Exactly.
I mean, versus buying all the equipment and the boat and then the truck to haul it with. You could go on a lot of guide trips for that.
Absolutely. I did have to admit though, I fished a couple different things, but I'm a backcountry hiker. Okay. And so what I'm most fascinated with right now is a guy who's fly fishing back in these lakes that are high in the Sierra, and you get up there and they're the only guy on the lake by themselves, and that looks so relaxing. I'm going, that sounds like, I don't even know if catching fish is as much fun as just sitting in a lake by yourself relaxing. Might be more my speed long term.
It's good. It's really nice to enjoy the environment that you're in. Mm-hmm. And then if you catch some fish, it just makes it that much better.
Absolutely.
So I've gone out with a lot of guides, especially working with the magazine, and I've gone out with, we do a lot of freshwater, but also do saltwater and other things. And I usually tell the guide right up front, I go, you know what, I'm just happy being out here. This is so great. Mm-hmm. If we catch some fish, that's great. But if we don't, that's okay.
I told Mark that last year, floating on Lake Almanor. We didn't even go that far off of the shore, but we took off. We just kind of shorelined it. And I said, I don't even really care how many fish we're catching. We're sitting here, the sunshine, bluebird day, the lake's gorgeous, and we're just, flicking this little bait out there and reeling it in. The birds are all flying by. It was awesome. I'm a big nature freak, so definitely worth doing. Yeah, on these tournament days, I one of the questions I had when I started looking at that, because I've never actually attended one, and I'm hoping to come up to yours this year and meet some of the guys. Do you guys shut the lake down? I mean, are other boaters out there?
The lake.
You guys around?
Okay. We do get a permit from the Game and Fish, from California Game and Fish, and also like with Oroville, it's Parks and Rec. At Shasta, it's a USDA. But we don't shut the lake down, but nobody else can have a tournament there while we're on the lake.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of buy a pass for that day on that lake. And
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, guys that don't know about what even a tournament is, I can do a quick rundown of kind of what a tournament is like.
Yeah, that's actually what my next question was going to be. Like, what would if a visitor was going to come up to Lake Almanor in May? What would they expect as a visitor? Like, you can't chase a boat around and watch these guys fish, right? That's not.
You can, sure. I mean, you can. That's what we have, like a couple of camera boats, and we run around and we follow these guys and take pictures of them while they're fishing. But basically, as a bass tournament is where people sign up with an organization like mine, sign up for an event. We come to the event, and the morning of the event, they'll launch. We check their boat, we check their live wells, make sure there's no fish, everything's legal. They go out and fish for the day at a predetermined time. So we call it blast off at first light in the morning until about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So they'll fish all day, and they're going to try to catch the 5 biggest fish they can. So different schools of thought. They might try to catch a lot of fish and keep culling up. They might use a different technique that is going to catch bigger fish, where they catch fewer but bigger. Different guys have different techniques. One day one is going to work. The next day the other one's going to work. So after the event, they come in, we check them in, they bring their fish in the boat. If they're live in an aerated live well full of water, they'll take them out of there. We have these special mesh bags and a big black bag full of water. So we'll take that and we call them bump tanks. We bring them to the big tanks. They take their fish out and the mesh bag and put it in a bump tank, and we go, and then we check the length of the fish, make sure they're the legal length, which is for our event is 13 inches, and then we take them up on this scale and weigh them in.
Okay.
Whoever has the largest 5 fish for that day is leading that tournament.
Okay. Great.
And then that weight is accumulative. So let's say the largest guy has 10 pounds. Okay, so he has 10 pounds. That goes to the next day. The next day he catches 10 pounds. And the guy behind him only caught 8 pounds, but he catches 13 pounds the next day. So he'll leapfrog over that guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the final day we cut to the top 10, and the top 10 go out and battle it out for, to see who can win the event.
For the prize money, right? So
the prize money. We also pay a big fish check too. So whoever has the largest single big fish will get one check for that.
That's nice. That's a fair way of doing it, right? Everybody wants the big story.
Sure.
The one that got away.
We give a trophy for the big fish, and the winner gets a really nice trophy. And
cool, very good. And I know that these boats are kind of part of the story, as far as I know, of bass lure, right? There's the fishing, but the rig and these boats are pretty expensive. What is it that about bass boats that it's so attractive to fishermen and the industry as a whole? That doesn't make the weird
bass
question.
Boats are a low profile boat with a big, large deck.
Yeah.
With a motor on the front, electric motor on the front, and a big gas engine on the back. And then we have a number of electronics. So I run a Basscat Puma STS.
Okay.
STS is Soft Touch Series, where they design the hull to make it ride smoother in rough water.
Okay.
And then so my boat has a big carpeted deck, probably 12 foot long by 5 or 6 foot wide, where you could dance on it if you wanted to. And then I have an electric trolling motor in the front. Then I have 2 depth finders, 2 Garmin depth finders in the front. One looks out, I have it where it looks out forward out to like 100 feet, so I can scan and see if there's fish out there. Then I have another one that has a map and it looks down. Then I have 2 in the back, one for navigation and one for looking down when I'm scouting around.
Wow, that's a lot to pay attention to.
The engine on the back is a 250 horsepower Mercury outboard.
Okay.
So my boat goes around 70 miles an hour.
So you can get across the lake pretty fast then. So if you need to get to a spot, right?
Across Almanor really quick.
Well, I won't go so much as asking your favorite cove in Lake Almanor, but is bass fishing mostly like shallow water? I mean, is it mostly shore? Again, amateur
here. It depends on the time of year. As the water gets warmer, so bass are a cold-blooded creature. They live in the cold water. And as the water gets warmer, in general sense, they move up shallower.
Okay, great.
And they move up shallow to spawn. So they'll go up and spawn, make a nest, and then the male will clean the nest off area, and then the female will lay the eggs, and then the male will come in and fertilize it.
Gotcha. So for a lake like
they're up in 10 foot or less of water.
Gotcha. So does the lure you were talking about earlier when I went out with Mark that late in the season I have a different setup. What type of setups do people like a lake like Lake Almanor? What's a typical setup somebody would use in spring versus fall?
You're going to use like a Yamamoto Senko. It could be what we call it wacky rigged or Nico rigged. That's where you have a worm and you basically put a hook in the middle of it. So when it goes down, it kind of flutters as it goes down and attracts the fish. Then there's a shaky head, which is a little lead head with a worm on it that you can throw out, and then you kind of shake it, and it entices a fish. We think the fish either thinks it's a crawdad or a little goby or a little fish going across the bottom. And then there's little swim baits, like a little Kitech swim bait. You put it on a lead head and throw it out and reel it back.
I think it's what we were doing because we were just throwing out and plopping and reeling it back in. So
right, and then so those are soft plastic baits. Then there's hard plastic baits that are crankbaits that look like a crawfish or a fish running in the water. You throw it out and you basically throw it out and reel it back. There's top water baits that you throw on top of the water, either reel it back or you can work it across the top of the water, kind of skitter, and it entices those fish to come up and hit it.
Oh, fascinating! See things I get to learn. Actually, I'm going to have Mark Pilgrim on the show here later this month as well.
Oh,
to talk about his experience because I know he's excited. He's doing a TV show, I think, as well, with as long as the tournament. So should be great to catch up. So when you guys are coming in Almanor, I think Lake Almanor is the last week of May, first day of June. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What can if guests want to come to an event like that, what should they expect? What kind of things do you typically see from visitors to kind of enjoy the tournament the best they can?
Well, it'd be nice to have a good crowd out. We've been having live music at our events.
Oh, fun!
About a half an hour before the show, do about a half an hour live music. I have a really great guitarist. He helps us set up and tear down, and then he plays music, and in the morning for the blast off, and also at the event. So he kind of does some double duty, which is really great for us.
Awesome.
So they'll come, and then after that, we do a little commentary. All with the MC, we'll do a lot of commentary and talk about what we think might have happened on the water, how guys are going to do. Then the guys come in flights. We'll probably have 2 different flights for our event. They'll come in, bring the fish in, and then they'll bring the fish up on stage, and you'll get to see them, and then they'll tell a little bit about how they did it and show you the fish.
Awesome. And then what about like either afterward parties or
No, fishermen aren't really an after party kind of crowd, because
that's good.
We get up really early and then we go fish all day, and we fish pretty hard. Sometimes you don't even, it's not good. We maybe don't even eat or drink during the day because we're so focused on figuring out how to catch that next fish.
Gotcha.
That, usually at like 7, 8 o'clock, we're getting all our stuff ready for the next day. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to bed.
I'm going to bed right now. I get you. So I was actually leading to my next question. Plumas County, Lake Almanor Basin is kind of known because there's like 100 lakes in the county of 1,000 miles of stream fishing. I was going to ask professional fishermen or guys that are into fishing, do they get off the boat and go get a different lake and go do different type of fishing? But your answer, they kind of go to bed and get ready for the next day.
They do, but during a tournament, we're really focused on that. We're going where we can only go to the one lake.
Yeah,
and then we're focused on catching those fish at that lake.
Gotcha.
There's other times. So, the good thing about bringing a tournament to a place like Lake Almanor is that we'll bring some economic impact to the lake when we come.
Yep.
But besides that, we'll do a TV show and we'll promote it. We'll promote it out on social media where we can really showcase Lake Almanor and show people what a great fun lake this is.
That's awesome. What's the name of the TV show that you guys run?
It's going to be out. It's going to be the BAM Tournament Trail show, but we'll have it up on Outdoor Action TV and a couple other streaming places. We'll also have it up on YouTube where everybody can go watch it. They don't have to have any kind of service.
That's fantastic. How long has BAM been going on? I didn't go back history wise. I looked like BAM was kind of a newer name, but I could be completely wrong on that.
BAM Tournament Trail is brand new.
That is brand new. Okay.
We've had 3 events so far.
Perfect.
So the trail is brand new. I'm not new at it. I've been doing tournaments for a long time, but I bought some equipment from another company that went out of business.
Okay.
So we have have a release boat, and I have a nice trailer, and then I have my boat and truck that we bring out. And then
great. And so 3 tournaments. Anybody dominating this year on the bracket, or is it new fishermen every week?
So far, Greg Gutierrez is really cleaned up. He's a Shasta local. He won the Shasta event, and then replaced second at Oroville. So he's on a hot streak. So we'll see how he fares up. We're headed off to Lake Martinez in Arizona.
Very good.
About a week and a half.
Okay. So Martinez, and then what else is between now and Lake Almanor?
Lake Martinez, and then I think it's I think it's Lake Almanor is after that.
Oh, right
so
there.
We're Lake
Okay.
Martinez, April, and then the end of May we're going to Lake Almanor.
Very good, perfect. So guys, if you haven't checked out Lake Almanor and Plumas County, take a look either on our website, sierracmagazine.com, or plumascounty.org. They got all kinds of hotels and places. I talk to them all the time. They'd love to have you come up and enjoy town. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mark, the weekend of your tournament is also the Loggers Jamboree in town. So there's going to be a whole slew of people in town for Chester, Lake Almanor area, I believe, for both events, possibly.
Oh,
so
great,
it should be a great weekend.
Well,
so
we can get some loggers to come out and watch some fishing, and we'll go watch some logging.
That'd be fun. Yeah, good reason to enjoy town. So, hey, one of the things we're going to do on our podcast, and we're just kind of starting this up, is I'm going to finish with 3 questions for you, Mark. A little more fun, kind of personal questions, if you will, but kind of rapid fire, let you answer kind of free flowing, and then we'll let you go for the day. I appreciate you joining us. Before we do that, though, remind everybody the name of the magazine they can get a subscription to or pick up online, or
Bass Angler Magazine.
Very good.
So bassanglermag.com.
And how many times does that come out a year? How many times does that come out a year?
Comes out 4 times a year. So every season. So fishing is a seasonal thing. So we come out every season and cover that season with the magazine.
Fantastic. Perfect. Check it out, guys. Bass Angler Magazine. It's great. So here's my question for you. I'm going to make it pretty simple. So just envision this. Your bag is packed. You have a week off to just go outdoors and be Mark outdoors. Where are you going? Is it one of your favorite locations they go to all the time, or is it a destination that's on your mind that if you have a week, you're going to go check it out? So
I'm going to tell you, it's going to be the first week in June at Lake Almanor. I'm going to haul my boat up there, and I'm going to go catch me a 50 big smallmouth.
50 big ones. Write it down right now.
It's so fun. You can't imagine how much fun it is when, the weather's flat and it's calm, you can see the fish and you can catch them there. So
you got to imagine, you got Lassen Peak at the end of the lake. If you're in the right spot, you got that view of Lassen Peak, snow cap still in the It should be gorgeous, right? Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I'm a big foodie. Like when I go hiking, I always come off trail and find my favorite cheeseburger. So the next question is about what's your favorite outdoor meal or snack while you're fishing or traveling? What's your go-to?
God, I have to go for a ribeye.
Ribeye, I like it. Ribeye, man. Anything like a side dish?
Ribeye and a potato. Outback, or if I can find a good steakhouse. I like the little independent steakhouses.
There you go. Very good. I'm trying to think of it. What's the steakhouse in Lake Almanor? I have to look that up. I don't know.
I think there is one there.
I always stay at St. Bernard, and she feeds me well there. So
I know there's a good pizza place there in Chester. I've been there a couple times.
Yep. Absolutely. There's a good bar and grill there too. I forget the name of the top of my head, but there in town. So all right, last question real quick. What gear is in your bag that you just don't leave home without? Like I never leave home without my paper map. I hate being lost in the trail, so I always have a paper map with me. What's in your gear bag you never leave home without?
Got my Akuma medium heavy TCS rod, rigged with the 10-pound fluorocarbon and a shaky head or a Yamamoto Seiko.
Oh, very good. So you got a couple of them there. So
everywhere, you can catch those 2 baits. You can catch fish anywhere.
Great.
It makes it nice.
That's fantastic. Well, there you go. You guys got some bass tips going on. We got the magazine for you to check out. Tournament in Lake Almanor that's coming up here at the end of May. Take a look at details. And on social media, Mark, any social media channels that people can check out, like Instagram or Facebook?
We do. We're Bass Angler Mag on Instagram, Bass Angler Magazine on Facebook, also Bass Angler Magazine on YouTube.
Perfect. I've been on your YouTube channels. Great videos to see the action on there. So thanks a lot for joining us today. We know that we got to hear just about 30 minutes, which is what I told you to be. So hopefully you enjoyed it. It was great meeting you. And when I'm up in Lake Almanor for May, I'll try to hunt you down, and we can catch up then.
All right. Look forward to it. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, Mark. Have a great day. And everyone else, I hope you get to the Sierra this weekend. It should be a beautiful, rainy, snowy weekend. So if you like weather, it's all coming this weekend. The Sierra, come and join it. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Go explore.
Thanks.